Hello, thank you for joining us today on Emerge. My name is Oma Wosu. Today we have a very special guest with us. No other person but Dala Alphonso. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's a coach, he's a speaker, he's an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Private Transformation Network. He's also the CEO of Dala Alphonso Foundation and Daltra Serve Incorporated. Good to have you here with us today, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, today we would like to know you more, want to know more about you. We want to know the vision and the purpose behind everything you've been doing. First of all, there's this name that's been associated with you on social media, Dalaism. We want to know what it's about. Is it a movement? What is it? Can you just tell us about it?
Okay, you asked me 3 questions in one. So the first is, who am I? And what is it that drives my life?
Okay.
My life can be summed up in 3 things: uplift, promote, preserve. Those are the 3 things that my life is all about. It's all about how can I uplift the next person around me? How can I preserve life? How can I promote the quality and the experiences of the people around me? Those are the 3 things that drive everything that I do. So when we talk about when I wake up in the morning, what do I think about? That is all I think about. So if you're asking me what my life is about, it's all about upliftment, promotion, preservation of life. That is it. So in whatever facets that shapes itself, or however way it expresses itself, at the end of the day, it's about upliftment, promotion, preservation of life for me. Now, having said all of that, who am I? I am this boy that was born in the army barracks in Kaduna.
Oh, Kaduna.
Way back in the early 70s. I grew up in the north. I am from Okrika in Rivers State. My father and mother are both from Rivers State, but my dad was in the army. He was a lance corporal at that time.
Oh, I was about to ask you what took you all the way to Kaduna.
My father was in the army.
Okay.
So I grew up in the army. So literally we were migrants. We moved from the north, the south, the east, wherever we get posted to. My dad retired from the army as a sergeant in the army. So I grew up from a very, very poor background with a home that had literally nothing, but a home that believed, like most Nigerian parents, believed in the efficacy of education. So I was driven to pay attention to my education, so I ended up going to some of the best schools. How that happened is a miracle in itself. Currently, I live in the United States. I've lived there for the past 20 years, 2 decades I've lived in the US.
That's a long time.
I come home a lot. Last year, 2017, I was in Nigeria at least 8 times because I believe that everything that we do is designed to add value to other people. So I think for me, coming back home to give back to the nation that founded me and helped me to become who I am is very critical. Now, the third aspect of your question, which has to do with Dalaisms, is look at the word. Dalaisms is a compound word that came from my dictionary because every word has a root. The word isms means philosophy. It means values. It means a way of thinking. So Dalaisms simply means Dala's philosophies, what I stand for, what I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering those 2
No
questions. In 1996, you had a terrible experience of a terrorist hijack, which led to the plane crash, which killed over 125 persons, and you came out without a scratch. What was your experience during this whole thing, and was that what gave birth to the foundation and the transformation network?
Well, I will say yes and I will say no.
Okay.
In the sense, and so let me start with the yes part. You have to be alive to have a purpose. Okay, you have to be breathing for you to want to add value to others. So yes, that experience, as harrowing as it was something that gave me a greater purpose to life, because I saw people as young as 2 years old that died in front of me. Why was my life spared? I've always asked questions about that. I saw people of diverse faiths. There was a young lady I remember whose biggest concern at that time was how to deal with immigration when we get to Nigeria, because she was coming from Pakistan and she was being deported. And that was her only problem, not knowing that she was going to die that afternoon. That plane crash experience in itself was a turning point in my life that made me understand how finicky, how fragile life in itself could be. So it became important for me to actually be able to look at ways that I can improve the quality of my life, knowing truly well that, we only have one life to live. We only have one opportunity to add value to other people as well.
So you want to say that your life was preserved for a purpose?
Yes, I do
So would
believe
you
that.
say that purpose, you're fulfilling it right now, or it's a futuristic thing, or it's...
Purpose is a journey.
Okay.
It doesn't end. You unveil your journey on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis. But for me, I think it has come down to one thing. Okay. Ultimately, the preservation of life, however way I can express that. And there is no place that I know of, all right, based on my experiences on earth, that need is greater than a place called Nigeria. Because here, there is no value for life. That's what I do believe, because people are dying daily, because we don't have a functional healthcare system. We don't have quality education. We don't have the care that an average citizen should get. We don't have security. We don't have the basic things that will preserve life.
There's this video of you on social media tagged running for presidency in 2019. And I want to ask you emphatically, what's your interest or intention in politics?
That video is intended to be a message. Let me just say off the top, okay, I am not running for president in 2019. Okay. Let's clarify that. Because anybody that listens to that entire video will hear me say that. I made that very clear. But it's a phrase. It's a phrase. It's a statement. Because we have a lot of people running for presidency in 2019. In my opinion, I made that video for two reasons. I'm not saying all, there are a few people, in fact, I would say probably 90% of the people who say they're running for presidency in 2019 do not qualify for it to begin with. Okay. Number two, I'm saying that the individuals who are saying they're running for presidency in 2019 are basically trying to satisfy the clamor of most Nigerians. But the problem has not been addressed, and as a result of that, these individuals who have said, I am running for presidency in 2019, should come together and form a collective or a coalition, because Nigeria in itself gives its presidency to the popular vote, okay, meaning whoever has the most votes gets the presidency.
Sorry, why do you think that these people are not qualified? Because in their heart of heart, before they will come out for something like that, they believe they must have done their assignment, their homework, their research, and all. So for you now to say, because somehow this video might get to them, and I think you need to clarify that area where you say you need to clarify that area, telling them they are not qualified. They might find it offensive, No,
you don't get offended by a fact. Here's the thing. What qualifies you to run for presidency in a nation like Nigeria? There is an age bracket. That's number one. It's a requirement. Number two, you have to be a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number three, you have to belong to a political party of sorts. I mean, there are certain things that they each have to have. So on the basis of that alone, okay, on the basis of the basic requirements, they qualify. But let's talk about competency. Being president is not about qualification, it's about competency, because you're dealing with a very dynamic problem, the Nigerian problem. as the president of a nation, you need to deal with things like ethnic problems. You have to deal with tribal problems. You have to deal with economic problems. You need to sit down in a room with people like Donald Trump and the presidents from all over the world and be able to articulate the vision of your nation, be able to negotiate, be able to say what you need to say. And do you understand? You don't go into a room with a celebrity mindset, say, oh my God, I'm in a room. Look, you don't have, how do you do that? When I'm talking about qualification, I'm talking about the simple fact that you have been able to develop yourself mentally to a point where you can handle these issues. Yes, you will have assistants, you have specialists, you have all of those things, you know, but at the end of the day, the ball ends in your court.
I will take you still back to your video. In that video, you made a statement that you have no camp. And you urged the youth to come together and form a coalition so that they can achieve this. Don't you think you are contradicting yourself?
No, I'm not contradicting myself. I still remember distinctly what I said. What I said was the youth need to come together. There is nothing that I have said now that contradicts that position, in the sense that the reason behind that statement was Nigeria gives its offices, it doesn't matter if it's a local government chairmanship or if it is the presidency, it goes to the popular vote. The popular vote is who has the majority of votes with regards to that particular office that has been pursued. So what I'm saying is, let me give you an example now. We have, I'll just pick, I don't know all of them, but I can mention some of the ones that I know. Fela Durotoye is running for office. Omoyele Sowore, I think is his name, is running for office. Kingsley Moghalu is running for office. There's this Edochie guy that is running for office. There is I think I saw something about Kanu Akwa running for office. We have so many people running for office. People who, by the definition of who should run for presidency in Nigeria, they qualify. But my question is this, and this is why that video was made. That statement, I'm running for office in 2019, is referring to what each of them have said, not me. Now, I'm saying, let's assume for the case of argument that Fela Durotoye drives 20% of the vote. Omoyele drives 20% of the vote. Kanu drives 20% of the votes, okay? And then let's say APC drives 20% of the vote. PDP drives 20% of the vote. Let's just say hypothetically. Now, that is 100%, right? So at the end of the day, whoever can get 21% becomes the president. Do you understand my point? So what I am saying in that video is that the ideologies and the things that undergird the decisions that folks like Fela and Omoyele and Kingsley and Kanu and Odochie and all these guys that are running, what drives them is that Nigerians are tired of a system that does not work. If Nigeria was functioning, nobody will worry about the age of its president. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. Because in the United States, for instance, the president is just turning 70. Okay? In France, for instance, the president is just around his early 30s. It's not about age. It's about competence. It's about the ability to do something. So what I'm saying is that if we continue on this direction that we want a young president, we want new ideas, then why can't those new ideas come together and form a coalition where they can, as a collective, offset and, if I'm to use the word, dethrone the current leadership? Because if that current leadership in itself today is able to gather 25% of the vote, and let me tell you something, they can do it very easily. Because in my opinion, political parties in Nigeria do not have a clear ideology. That is why members jump from one party to the other. Their followership goes with them. So if folks in APC feel that 60% of the vote is already with these young people who are not organized in themselves and cannot come together as a united force, some folks from one platform can just move over. And so one of the old or established platforms will have 25% and leave the other one with 15%. So the person with at 25% becomes the winner, even if they do not get up to a third. I mean, even if they do not get up to a third of the vote. So that's what I was talking about, that we have a great idea. We have a great opportunity. We have over 70 plus million young people who are tired of it. We have a nation of older people, you know, who have been around and have seen the mess we're in and want to see a change and will support any person that will bring about that change. Who will gladly vote for a platform? But the thing is that they are divided and spread across so many different candidates that it will now become detrimental at the end of the day, because somebody can just walk away with the presidency, the governorship, or the local government chairman with just 25 to 30% of the vote.
As Nigerians, sometimes we feel very insecure because of this insurgency, inflation, recession, and what have you. And it's causing panic in the hearts of Nigerians. What do you have to say about it? What do you think is the hope for Nigeria? Nigerian youth especially, because it's the youth that are crying out every day these days, but they don't make deliberate moves. But with this desire you have, this burning heart you have for our beloved country, Nigeria, what do you think is our hope?
What we need in Nigeria is competent leadership. Okay. Age is not the problem. I know age is very, very obvious because we have been led by the same groups of people since the 70s. Now, remember that these individuals who are currently in leadership today started leading us in their 20s, okay? In their 20s, you know, early 30s. And that is why they're still there till now, because they started at a very young age, grew into their prime, and continued even after they ought to have retired. You understand my point? So what is happening is that they've been unwilling to relinquish leadership to the next generation. We do not have a transitional system in place. We do not have a means of raising qualified protégés that will be able to continue the vision. As a nation, we do not have a national dream or a national vision. So everybody's just coming and doing their own thing. So for me, I strongly believe that age is not the problem. I will support a 29-year-old that is competent. I will support a 69-year-old that is competent, as long as they are all leading us towards delivering the future that we all desire as a nation. So that's what I mean by age is not the problem. Because, you know, and this is not an insult to our generation. The truth of the matter is that in those days, growing up, an 18-year-old's responsibility, the kind of responsibility an 18-year-old is willing to take on, an 18-year-old today is not going to do that. And that's just the truth. You understand my point? Meaning that as time has gone by, we have relinquished this question of responsibility, and responsibility has a lot to do with competency. So in essence, age is not the issue. If we have a 40-year-old that is qualified, that has the skill set, the history, the background, the experience, the passion, the drive to deliver, let's support that person. If we have a 65-year-old who is willing to run one term, has the mental capacity, has the patriotism, has the passion, the clarity of vision to deliver, let's support them. I do business with some people that are over 80, and their minds are still sharp. I sit down with 22-year-olds who have their entire future ahead of them, and I listen to them for 5 minutes, and in my mind, I'm wondering, is this human? There is a problem. There is a problem. So age is not the issue. Age is not our problem. Our problem has to do with competency of leadership, clarity of vision, and then the support of a nation that truly is patriotic and not entrenched in a culture of corruption.
Still talking about our darling country. There's this trending thing now on social media and everywhere that our president said that the youths are lazy. Do you think Nigeria...
Let me jump in first. It is wrong for a leader to say a thing like that about his nation. I'm clear about that. our leader has any leader at any level, much less the presidency, should ever say that about their citizenship. Even the United States president made an inference. I'm talking about Barack Obama. He made an inference of a similar nature about Americans a few years ago. But you see, the point that I am trying to make is that, number one, let's be clear. You as a leader have no business presenting your people that way. Because no matter how messed up my kids are at home, I will always bring them in a good light in public, because that is my future, okay? But the second thing is that, like I said earlier, this hype will pass because we are very, very short-sighted. Let him come out and say something now. By next week, we have moved on. It's the next trending thing. You see, Nigerians, and now let me reemphasize, Nigerians are one of the most entrepreneurial people, the most enterprising people, the most hardworking people. Nigerian young people are very, very hardworking.
So we deserve some accolades.
I'm not going to go into the trending words, but true, okay? But is that a reflection of all the Nigerian youth? Are all Nigerian young people hardworking? Are all Nigerian youth not willing to work? Is there a demographic in Nigeria that is unwilling to work? It exists. That is the truth. We have, last night, I had to go get a haircut at 10 p.m. at night. And in my mind, and I'm just thinking, as this guy was cutting my hair, I'm just thinking that, wow, look at this gentleman. He's sitting down at 10 p.m. at night just to satisfy customers that he doesn't even know were coming, just for $500.
That's
500 naira. So that is a hard-working person. But there is somebody else, another Nigerian, who is saying, me to go sit down, they wait for 500 naira, make somebody come cut my hair for waiting. I beg you, make person go hustle another way.
But we're not going to use the bad one to spoil the good one.
We're not spoiling, but we don't want to take the good one, spoil the bad one. It's an even exchange.
All right,
no, we have to be honest. We have to do everything within our power to help our people. All right? By educating them, by teaching them the significance, the importance of national identity, giving them a vision, something that we all can believe in, helping them actualize and fulfill their dreams. Look, we have a lot of potential in this country. We just have to engage it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so very much. It was nice having you here. And we would like to have you some other time again so we hear more from you, because I know because of our time, you have so much to say to us with the Nigerian youths, and we have so much to say here from you, and we hope to have you here again. Thank you very much.